you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who...
This is so funny because it shows you that all these South Asian men, especially, who have become these big Trump supporters, they're not one of them. They're like, wait a second, like, I'm white on the inside. They don't see that. Like, you can see Vivek's like hairline trying to run away from the situation, or like Kash Patel in that one interview where they're like, we hope this person was a person of color. For so long, first generation immigrant South Asian Indian people have been told to assimilate to white standards. They might see themselves, or we might see ourselves as an American first and foremost. But the problem is, most of America does not see us this way. You know how many people ask me if I do yoga? If I pray 5 times a day? I grew up Catholic in Iowa. America will always be racist against people of color. You know, this is why like people like Zohran Mamdani have resonated so much with people. It's because he's so authentic about who he is. He knows his identity. He's not trying to cosplay. He's not like, you know, a typical South Asian candidate like Kamala Harris or Nikki Haley, who really try to appease white voters in their identity. Yeah, Vivek, you deserve this.
There are times when I wish that Paul Mooney was still alive. And Vivek Ramaswamy getting torn a new one by them young white evangelicals is one of them times. Because, child, and he went with his best white face on. Can we talk about the makeup that he was wearing that was trying to make him look like he was 4 shades lighter? It is very sad. It is very sad. And I'm just saying that Paul Mooney was always say that black people got their Negro wake-up call. I don't know what you would call this besides an Indian wake-up call, but all the times he was on here trying to say how wonderful America was, how, you know, lecturing the black people about how we don't understand and it's not like that anymore, and campaigning with the Republicans and trying to be a Republican because he believes in the values that Republicans share. Do you believe in this one? Do you believe that you can't be governor of Ohio because you are a Hindu and you brown? They see through that light makeup. Child, that makeup was sending me. But you guys, any wake-up call? Because you know what they say, tokens get spent. And it's very sad, but I don't feel sorry for him. Because the way he was lecturing black people about how we don't know what's going on in this country, we're so blessed, we're so privileged, you know, it's not racist, it's racism, is not, this isn't a racist country. I want somebody to ask him today. I want somebody to ask him now.
Thank you all for being here. At this time, I have to switch because there is no...
So welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, welcome on board. You know, I did a video before on American Indians getting their wake-up call, right? And I guess things keep going in circles. Like, as it is, there is no end in sight, right? Vivek is a classical example why you want to align with the Caucasians, and the Caucasians would always remind you where you're coming from, whether you want to believe it or not. Just like I said in my previous videos, that no one is completely safe from being deported. No one is completely safe from receiving their wake-up call other than the white Americans, the natives, black Americans, right? And again, a lot of people will think, okay, we belong to the high class, we belong to one of the groups that makes one of the highest incomes in this country, and of course we are not going to be targeted. But when it comes to Caucasians, they're going to give you that rude awakening and put you right where you belong, right? And to think that most of the American Indians were the ones that gave this guy the highest votes, and now you guys are crying wolf. I've said this for the longest time. I said Trump is gonna keep all his promises, whether you want to believe it or not, whether you think he's gonna, you know, go to the corner and maybe try to change his mind. He's not going to do that. Trump is going to give you exactly what you asked for. And now he's giving you, someone would say, this is the typical example of FAFO season, right? You know, and I actually feel bad for them because a lot of people would think that proximity to whiteness would automatically make you white. It's not going to make you white. And I want to remind people that Caucasians, white people have no competition. They are their own competition. So the high time people get their acts together, the better for them. So guys, what do you think? Please drop your thoughts in the comments. I have more clips for you, so stay tuned.
Official meeting. But that doesn't stop me from hearing from each and every one of you. And now this is an official town hall.
It's really sad. It is a sad day for Brahman County. It is sad for every one of us, not just for Indians, but every community. Yes. Months back, he made a comment about Muslims. Now he made a comment about Indians. Who will be next? We don't know. And that's what the problem is.
Much legislation that has been very pro-minority. On the other side, you got Joe Biden, who says, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Joe Biden supported segregation in the 1970s. Joe Biden put out the 1994 crime bill and called black people super predators. Joe Biden says poor kids are just as smart as white kids. If there is anyone who is racist, it is undoubtedly, unequivocally Joe Biden. Donald Trump is for brown lives, white lives, yellow lives, red lives. Donald Trump sees us all as American. That's right. Not look at each other by skin color, and we look at each other all as Americans. He puts this country first. He's a patriot, and we will support him. And we're going to make sure everyone here sees, all these liberals out there on the road sees, that we're going to break the narrative that it's not that minorities are supporting Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is going to cause a red wave. He's going to win. We're going to get 4 more years.
Y'all see your boy Whyt got his Indian wake-up call.
Jesus Christ is God, and there is no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith? If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is today, what are you conserving? You are bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you. Christianity is the one truth.
Christian voices should be the main voice of America, and I want to know basically why you seem to be, and I don't mean to be horribly offensive, but why you seem to be masquerading as a Christian.
You call yourself a Hindu, but you also call yourself Christian. I don't call myself Christian. I call myself a Hindu. I'm not running to be pastor of Ohio. I'm running to be governor of Ohio, and I did pastor of America. I ran to be president of the United States of America.
I mean, this is at a Turning Point USA event. This is the culture that Charlie Kirk was cultivating. You got these young 20-something-year-old kids, 18 to probably 21, telling this honestly model American who's living out the real American dream that he's not good enough because of his religion. We all know this really isn't about Vivek's religion. It's because he's not white. But they're masking how they really care about him not being white into his religion. It just makes it easier to get your point across. They don't want a brown person running their state, and they don't want a brown person running their country. But again, this is why I'm a part of Unfuck America. This type of way of thinking is just everything but American.
There's not been nearly enough attention to the rise of anti-Indian hate in America and around the world. I'm Raj Goyal, New York City dad, Democrat, tech CEO, former elected official in Deep Red America. So if you look at the news lately, you've seen really disturbing articles in Canada, which is very pluralistic, very diverse, has a large population of Canadians of Indian origin. You're seeing unprecedented levels of anti-Indian hate crimes and discriminatory incidents. In California, there's an article about how much that has increased. We see actually in Ireland that the Indian embassy has had to actually issue a warning because there has now been targeting and stalking of Indians there. And so one must ask, like, why is this happening? It's cheap and easy to maybe say, well, it's because of Donald Trump and the forces of divisiveness. We obviously are in a very, very divisive time, and Donald Trump is no fan of togetherness and no fan of diversity. We know that. But at the same time, it's deeper than that, which is this is a historical pattern that as an ethnic group gets more ensconced, gets more political power, there will inevitably be a backlash. And as somebody who's one of the first Indian Americans elected in America 20 years ago, I often used to talk about this, which is as we gain more political power, there will be more contentious times, there will be more difficulty, there will be more turbulence. And so we all need to be more vigilant here. And this was an issue to watch and more to come.
So President DJT is considering signing an executive order that will essentially stop American tech companies from outsourcing their work to India. Now, as an unapologetic capitalist, there's one side of me that says, well, that seems to be a little bit of tampering with people's freedoms as far as trade goes. But the human part of me, the deeper aspect of me, the everyday version of me says, finally somebody notices. You know, here's the thing. If you're going to get some of your programmers out of India, something of that nature, go ahead. But the damn call centers, you know what I mean? I don't want AI. I don't want somebody who doesn't understand what I'm going on about. Can we get Betty from Minneapolis? Can we get Chantel from out of Baltimore? Somebody who's at least just a real human being who can understand what I'm going through and the fact that I do not want to have to call this number 17 more times. That's it.
Goes out to people who voted for Donald Trump. I hate you might be my family, you might be my friends, but if you voted for Donald Trump, I hate I fuck you and I don't want you to be in my life.
It can't be that bad, bro.
You ruined it for myself and all the people around me.
Wow.
You knew voting for him would deny my rights. You knew it would be a disaster for trans folks, for immigrants, for people who look like me, people who are marginalized and poor, who have trouble with medical and all kind of stuff. I fought voting Donald Trump.
Boy, I never heard this come from one of y'all.
Especially family members and close companions who voted for Donald Trump. Get out of my life. Don't ever text me. Don't come near my social media. I don't want anything to do with any one of you. You have ruined my already difficult life.
The great irony is, of course, that Donald Trump is the son of an immigrant, the grandson of an immigrant, and married to an immigrant. In fact, 2 of his 3 wives were immigrants, proving yet again that immigrants will do the jobs that even Americans are not willing to do.
American Indians, as we all know, are one of the most successful groups in America right now. They have the money and they are the ones in the Silicon Valley. They are the ones in tech. They are the ones with knowledge. That was one of the reasons why Trump removed the H-1B visa, that if any company from America want to employ an Indian person from India, they have to pay $100,000 for that visa every year. So you're gonna pay $100,000 every year as a renewal. So those are one of the policies that Trump had put in place to curtail the number of Indians coming into America. And of course, a lot of people are saying he's doing that to preserve the jobs for Americans, employ Americans that are expertise in such areas like the techs and all of those good stuff, right? And again, a lot of people do not agree with him because they feel like Trump is intentionally doing that to curtail the number of Indians coming to America. And I guess that's one of his immigration policies, right? So Indians now are not happy. To them, they feel targeted, you know, because at some point, just like I said, they thought maybe their skin color is proximity to whiteness, and now they are getting their rude awakening. Again, one thing about policy, sometimes you vote exactly what you want to see. And now that you're seeing it, and now that it's affecting you directly, you guys are coming out on these internet streets and crying, right? And when black people, when other people were warning you not to, you know, vote for him, now that you voted for him, now you're on these streets crying to who exactly? You know, just like I said, no one is free from being deported. No one is free from, you know, succumbing to one of his policies. The only people that are free from getting removed from America are the white Americans, the black Americans, the indigenous Americans, right? And probably those that were born here. But even with that too, Trump is trying to completely get rid of them too, you know. So it's kind of crazy, and I understand where they're coming from because it's hitting them directly. And I guess now they are coming out to, you know, cry about it because they never thought it was going to reach their turn. They never thought they're going to be targeted. They thought it was just the Latinos, the Cubans, other, you know, minor groups like that. They never knew it was coming right to them. So guys, if you have come this far and you're yet to subscribe, please subscribe because I have good videos that will be dropping every day for you. And if you want to see more of this content, please drop your thoughts in the comments. But before you go, please hit on the subscribe button, hit on the like button, hit on the share button, hit on the notification bell in order not to miss any of my videos. See you in the next one. Have a blessed day.